Hi everyone, this is Lorraine Santa Rosa, and I will be your host for today's webinar where we're going to talk about 7 tips on selling your home in today's market. I know you've got a lot of questions as we are about 30 days in our lockdown as to how we're doing right now in real estate. Are people buying homes? Are people selling homes? What's happening? So I'm going to hopefully answer all those questions and others that you might have as to what is exactly going on in today's market. But first, I'm going to give folks about a minute to get on here. And in the meantime, if you wouldn't mind just putting in chat your name, where you're from, if you're a homeowner, and is it sunny where you are? I know I'm in San Diego and it's currently really sunny. So you've got some questions, and we're going to get right onto it here about selling your home in today's market. Let's look at, whoops, hold on here. We're going a little bit too fast here. Hold on. All right. Okay, let's first take a look at the stats here in San Diego for the last week, the most recent stat that we have, April 3rd through the 9th, as to what is happening with the housing market. This is information provided by the San Diego Association of Realtors. And as you can see, we have about 5,254 homes currently on the market, and we have 577 new listings. And of those, we have 439 sales. That's homes that have been sold during this past week, and there are 359 homes that are currently under contract and waiting to close escrow. And according to the San Diego Association of Realtors, we have had 7 straight weeks of increased active listings throughout March and so far in April. I know you're probably wondering, my goodness, I didn't know that homes are still moving, and that is the key. Homes are still moving here in San Diego and likely around the country. As you know, we were considered non-essential in the first couple of weeks of the lockdown, and then we became essential, and so we're able to still conduct business. But it looked like people were still buying and selling homes throughout the beginning of this whole process. So what is my goal here today? I want to show you that there is a new way to sell homes, and it probably might be the way we move forward as of now on, but how we sell homes, how we conduct business has changed in the real estate space. And like I said, we're going to hopefully answer those questions today. So I want to share with you something that if you stay with me to the end, I'm going to give away a bonus, and it's something that you're really going to like. So hopefully stick with me, and as we go through and answer all of your questions about what's going on in today's market and how you can sell your home. So I know that there are about 3 types of homeowners that are out there. There are those who are not interested in selling right now, and I get that. And then there are those who say, you know what, let's wait and see what's going on in this market. And then there are those who need to sell due to lifestyle changes. And those are the ones that I believe are currently in the market. Well, they make up most of those buyers that are currently in the market. And I want to also mention that there are veterans or service members who are on active duty right now who are going through a difficult time. And what I mean by that is the military imposed what was known as a stop move order in March. So those service members that had orders to change duty station were told they couldn't. They had to stop. And so many are in limbo. I hear it's thousands of service members across all of the branches that are in limbo because When this stock move happened, they were in the process of moving. Either they packed up their stuff from their current duty station and then were told they couldn't move, and they're having to pay for housing in their current duty station as well as the ones that they've set up to the duty station that they're going to. So they're having to pay for housing in two places, and I hear it's putting some hardship on our service members. So I hope that that can be of some kind of relief. I know it's going to be a 60-day hold, but we've got to be thinking about our service members who are going through this at this time. So I want to share with you that I have been a Navy spouse for about 20 years, so I completely understand the challenges of military families in having to move from one duty station to the next. And I've been a realtor for 15 years, and during that time, I've advocated for veteran housing, trying to make housing more acceptable to our service members, especially while they're serving, as well as afterwards when they leave the service and become veterans. So therefore, I'm known as a realtor serving military families, and yes, that is my car that you see right there in the picture. So, 7 tips on selling your home in today's market. As I shared with you with that statistics at the beginning, as you can see, homes are still moving. And so there are clearly buyers who are taking a long view of the market, who are securing their jobs, who can get financing and probably need to buy. And they probably make up a big bulk of who the buyers are right now, given that we do have this stay-at-home order in California and the social distancing and so on. So based on the stats, there are transactions that's taking place. So if you're a homeowner, you've got to know that it's business as usual, but in a different way. So before the lockdown happened, most homeowners were dealing with a whole different situation. We had a robust market here in San Diego, low inventory, multiple offer situations, and for most homeowners, the biggest headache that they had, or problem or concern, so to speak, was finding a suitable property, because they had to compete with other buyers, and if they couldn't find that replacement property, it kind of held up the process of selling their home. But after COVID-19, that situation then becomes something different. For homeowners, it became a situation of, well, how can I show my home if I were to put it on the market, or if I had it on the market, what happened to showings? Because as you know, a lot of buyers rely on wanting to see the property in order to make a decision. Even though for many years I've done sales, especially with members in the military, whereby they never even set foot in the property and purchased their home, and we did that via various ways, especially video and that kind of stuff. But that's the big question that I know homeowners have right now, is how do I show my home and stay compliant with the stay-at-home order and social distancing and so forth. And so I'm going to talk about that. So, but first, traditional in-person showings are still happening because we moved to essential business, and so with that we're able to still do them, but they're done differently. We highly encourage our buyers to not do the traditional, as least as possible. And if we're going to do them, here's how we're doing them. We have forms that are already prepared for both the buyer and the seller to acknowledge that they're not showing any symptoms, that they're not currently experiencing the virus. And so, and it's as far as we know, it's okay for both for the home showing to happen. And we encourage buyers to not have many people in their party when they're showing, so we like to at least have it to one person if possible. If there's a family, we encourage there to be a situation where kids are not at the showing to minimize the number of people in the property. So when we go there to the property, we use sanitizers, we put booties over our shoes, we wear gloves, and we ask our clients not to touch any surfaces throughout the property. And then when we leave, we have the seller know that they should sanitize the home after every showing. So that's how traditional in-person showings are done. Like I said, they are not encouraged as much, but if they have to, that's how we're done. So the real estate business, as I've been sharing with you, has changed, and it's changed in a way where it is now a virtual sale that's taking place for the most part. We have the capability now to do a complete sale of a property virtually. And so, as you can see up on the screen, we have a process from start to finish that we can do that. And I'm going to get into some of that right now, but it includes e-signing and where all the documents are done electronically, and most of the stuff is showings is done virtually. So what do I mean by that? Live virtual showings. Virtual showings have been a part of the real estate business. In the past, buyers have used that if they really liked a property and they want to get as much information on the property, before they go see it. They will look at the virtual tour and use that to get some idea of what the property looks like. But it is now a big part of our business given the times that we're in. And what I mean by live virtual showings, it's where we ask either the seller or the listing agent to have a camera, go through and do a streaming of the tour on platforms such as Zoom, Google Meet, and FaceTime Live too, first times as well, and Facebook Lives. So that's the type of virtual showings that we're doing, and we're doing them live, and they seem to be really making a difference in helping our buyers see the property and ask questions at the same time. Live virtual showings tend to be private, for the individual buyer or buyer party, and we're doing them, and they're pretty successful right now. The other thing that we're doing is live virtual open houses. This is for a group of people, just like we would do an open house where we used to schedule the times. Usually it's maybe anywhere from 2 to 3 hours for open houses. We schedule these times and we post it on Facebook Live. We share the link, we go live, and then we walk buyers who come on our Facebook page to do the tour. We have either the seller or the listing agent doing holding the camera and walking through the property and sharing the footage over FaceTime, or like we said, Facebook Live or Google Meet. And these are becoming very, very popular. So you're wondering, well, what happens if I'm under contract and a situation pertaining to COVID-19 happens and we have to cancel the contract? We have what's known as a COVID addendum form that was created by the California Association of Realtors. This was one of the first forms that was ever created as COVID-19 happened and we went into lockdown. This form, we know that what happens if the buyer can't get funding for some reason due to COVID-19, or either parties contract the virus. What happens? We would just have the buyer and seller both agree to sign this form and to cancel contract. Your agent can advise you on the actual form and go from there. But there is that form, and there are other forms as well that the California Association of Realtors has created for COVID-19 that addresses the listing side of it as well as the buyer representation side of it as well. So there are new forms in place. As I've been saying, we have a virtual home selling program. And so how does that look for the rest of the closing process. It's looking completely different, and here's how we do the virtual part of it, or we minimize the number of people that's going through the property, and thereby trying to comply with the social distancing. One of the stages is inspections. We have the inspector go by his or herself, do the inspection, and then share that report with the buyer virtually later on. Inspections used to be where it was the buyer's agent, it was the inspector, it was the and the buyer, and any other members in the buyer's party that would be at the inspections. And so, as I explained, we're now changing that. Appraisal, in the beginning of this lockdown, appraisers were saying that they didn't want to do internal inspections, just external. Now we've kind of gone to a place where most of the appraisals are done with internal inspections, but the appraisers are adhering to the social distancing guidelines. Final walkthroughs, this is where buyers at least want to physically go to the property, and we can arrange for that to happen, again, following the social distancing guidelines. But they can be done virtually as well, whereby the seller or the listing agent walks through the property, records, does a tour, and then streams it virtually via Zoom or FaceTime, Facebook Live, Google Meet, whatever platform that the agent chooses to use. So the closing process, where traditionally we've had to go to the property and take a look, are now being done, or can be done, virtually or with very few people, minimizing or trying to comply with the social distancing. You're wondering, is there such are escrows closing in 30 days? For the most part, yes. We, as agents, as we're trying to coordinate the different stages of the transaction, we adhere to the social distancing and the stay-at-home order and stuff like that. But we're seeing that it's not too much of an impact as to the timeline. Obviously, there are issues that do come up in lending and so forth, but we're staying pretty close to the 30-day closing timeframes still. So if you're thinking about selling your property and you'd like to strategize and talk to me about how that can be done, please feel free to go ahead and schedule a 15-minute strategy session. You go to strategywithlorraine.com, and there you'll be taken to my calendar. You can just pick the day and time to schedule that virtual strategy session, and we'll talk about you selling your home and if that's right for you. Again, go to strategywithlorraine.com to schedule that appointment. Now, as I mentioned, I'm going to give you a bonus today by sticking with me to the end. That bonus is my HomeBot site. This I've already been given to my VIP clients, and they absolutely love this site. So this is why I'm going to share with you for coming on today, giving it to you for free. All you need to do is go to sdhouseworth.com and put your information in there, and you can look up information that you probably haven't seen anywhere else before. And this is why my current homeowners and clients love it. It's because, after you buy a house, you go, okay, I buy a house, and they keep telling me it's an investment. But now what do I do? Well, this is what this site does. It tells you how much principal versus interest that you've already paid on your property. What kind of interest rate do you have? What would happen if you change interest rate? If you refinance and got an interest rate, how soon or how fast can you pay off your home? Would it make sense to you? If you wanted to do a short-term rental like an Airbnb, it will tell you what the going rate is in your neighborhood for that. It tells you so much more. My clients love it. and ideas on how to use your equity, how to leverage that equity. That's a big key thing. And it will even tell you if it's a good idea or a bad idea. Say, for instance, if you wanted to pay down some debt, they'll go, oh, if you want to pay down some debt, here's what it would be, whether a good idea or not so good idea. If you wanted to buy a second property, an investment property, it will also tell you that. This is a great tool. So go to sdhouseworth.com. It's totally free, and you will get reports on the how much your house is worth, and if the prices drop, you even get emails to say, hey, the price went up or the price went down. So that's why my clients really like it, and I'm giving it to you for free today. So again, if you want to schedule a quick 15-minute strategy session with me, go to strategywithlorraine.com and schedule your appointment. I'm just going to check and see if we've got any questions at all in